Yo, so recently AI has been all around us. I swear, every single company is trying to find a way to integrate AI into one of their products. But with so much AI tech emerging in 2024, it's hard to keep track of what's going to be revolutionary and actually benefit us humans versus what's just going to be some temporary artificial hype. Now, I'm an electrical engineering student here at Georgia Tech, and I thought it would be worthwhile for me if I did my own research about all these different AI tech to see what my future would look like and also like my career aspects in the future. I've also decided to indulge in my Gen Z shenanigans and rank the top 10 most popular AI technologies that I could find in 2024. Now, this is going to be an interactive experience, so feel free to absolutely fillet my opinions in the comments. But you better give some good examples and evidence, or else we can't have a good sustainable argument. But without further yapping, let's just get started. The first AI technology I would say is the most widely used case of AI in our current society. It's none other than AI for writing and coding. The best example for this is ChatGPT, and personally as a student, I use this a ton. It helps me a ton with fixing my grammar whenever I write essays or emails to other people. It helps me generate a lot of new ideas when it comes to my research or for my content. And also, it saves me just a lot of time whenever I'm trying to debug a tiny error in one of my coding classes. Actually, back in 2023, a company called GitHub, which is a web-based platform where users can collaborate and build code, they ran a survey. And they saw that their implementation of their new AI coding assistant called GitHub Copilot actually reduced the time that coders and developers needed to make their code by 55%. Now, this is because as you're coding, this GitHub Copilot is actively checking your work, seeing if you have any errors and suggesting different ways to improve your code and make it way more efficient. Also, they have a chat or prompting feature, so if you have no idea how to get started on some function, you can just ask it and it can basically generate that code for you. But that brings the question, if it can just generate the code for you, then what's the point of the developer in the first place? Say for example, I wanted to create a hangman game in Python. Well, I can just go ask ChatGPT, make this game for me in Python, and it will do that almost immediately. Now, this definitely will raise some concerns about job displacement for all these CS majors. And over here at Georgia Tech, we got quite a few of those. Now, is this job displacement really that big of a deal to completely invalidate the use of AI for writing? I personally don't think so, because even though some general coding and editing jobs will definitely be displaced, there's also going to be new jobs being created as well. We're going to need some people who can oversee and train these AI models. There's a lot of examples where these writing AI tools can hallucinate and generate some wrong information. Now, I would be quick with putting this in the S tier, but after doing some further research, there's some things that make me want to put it down to A tier. The biggest of this is the over-reliance of using these tools. A lot of times, people just let it do the thinking for them without double checking it whatsoever. Earlier this year, there was an actual research article that was published in a pretty well-known journal that had little AI words in it. You know, when you ask GPT to do this and it says, sure, I'll generate this for you, and it generates it, that was in there. There was no double checking from the researcher or the journal to see if this was there or not. Also, these generative AI models predict the next word from a big database that comes from online. And online has a lot of biases, discrimination, and stereotypes. So that could be seen in these like AI generated blog posts, for example. And if people just get too lazy and just let it do the work for them, post it online, well, that can be very problematic and destroy the whole use case for this writing AI. So that's why I'm gonna stick it to A tier. Okay, let's finally move on to the second AI technology, healthcare AI. Now, in a nutshell, this is the AI used for medical diagnostics and research in order to improve patient outcomes. The way healthcare AI models work is that they use neural networks trained on extensive medical datasets. These systems can identify abnormalities and patterns within all these medical records and even surpass human radiologists. Now, personally, I think the most important factor for a human is their health. Especially in America, if you have some sort of medical problem, you have to constantly go to the doctor so you can get it treated and diagnosed. And this can take a lot of time because it's done by humans. Also, a very bad scenario is if they can't even diagnose what your issue is. Now, in America, healthcare isn't free. So it takes a lot of money going to the doctor, trying to get a treatment plan, and being diagnosed. So if AI technology can be used to improve the health of a patient, well, I think that automatically just puts it in S tier. One huge example of AI being used in healthcare right now is with Google's AlphaFold. This is a system that can predict the 3D structure of proteins just from their sequence of amino acids. Well, why is this important? Well, knowing the exact structure of a protein allows us to understand its function and what exactly it does at the molecular level. I gotta thank my AP Bio teacher from back in the day for teaching me that one. Also, in medicine, many drugs are designed to target specific proteins in the body. By knowing the exact structure of the proteins, researchers can design and develop drugs that can bind specifically to the active site of the protein, making the treatment way more effective. Now, believe it or not, a few weeks ago, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was revealed, and it was given to 3 scientists who cracked the code for determining protein structures using none other than AI. Also, another very relevant example, back when we had COVID, companies like Pfizer used AI algorithms to run vaccine trials and expedite the distribution of these vaccines. Of course, there's tons of more examples to support my S-tier rating of AI in healthcare, but I think it's important to consider the drawbacks as well. One of the biggest issues is with patient privacy. In order to train these datasets, you'll need medical records, and these come from all the different patients. If this is misused, it can lead to breaches in patient confidentiality. Also, if these medical datasets are not diverse enough, it can lead to disparities in diagnosis within different ethnic groups. But I think these issues can be overcome with better training of these models and more oversight of the treatments being given. And the benefits of AI being used in healthcare just far exceeds these downsides, and that's why I'm gonna stick it in the S tier. Alright, moving on. The third AI tech on our list, AI used for autonomous driving. Now, this enables vehicles to navigate roads and make decisions without any human input whatsoever. Now, this is extremely relevant because just a few weeks ago, Tesla revealed their fully autonomous robo-taxi called Cybercab. I explained how this vehicle works in my previous video up here. Self-driving AI relies on convolutional neural networks to enable visual processing and reinforcement learning for decision making. Now, of course, the biggest advantage of this is improving road safety and decreasing the number of accidents. Now, just this year, Waymo, which is another company that develops these autonomous vehicles, they did an experiment and they saw a 90% reduction in accidents in their test areas compared to human-driven vehicles. Back in 2023, it was reported that about 40,000 people died from car crashes and car accidents alone. Now, people need cars to commute to work or to travel anywhere they want to right now. So ideally, if all these cars were autonomous and they could make all the decisions based on their visual processing, their convolutional neural networks, then we could definitely decrease the number of lives at risk. From personal experience, I live in Atlanta, and people, they devious drivers over here. You step a wheel into the highway, whew, good luck with you. Also, so many times people are distracted when driving, whether that's on their phones, talking to someone, listening to music. If your attention isn't on the road, that can immediately increase your chance of crashing. Well, if we give all that decision making to the vehicle, well, we can reduce that human error by a lot. Now, of course, right now in 2024, we're nowhere near that ideal world. The biggest issue right now is that many people are not ready or don't have the funds to adopt these autonomous vehicles. There's been multiple examples of these autonomous vehicles still crashing. There's definitely some security concerns because the entire car operates based on a software system, and software can easily be hacked. So if you're driving and your software gets hacked or bugs out, well, that's extremely dangerous for your life. Also, there comes this ethical concern. Say you're about to go into a crash. Do you either harm the passengers themselves and just full sending that crash? Or do you swerve to the right, but there's a pedestrian to the right? What's the best decision, if there is one, to make in that case? And who would be at fault when the crash happens? Now, initially, I was gonna put autonomous vehicles at S tier just because it does improve the lives of multiple people. But it just seems too idealistic right now. And just looking in the future, in order for this to be extremely groundbreaking, everybody needs to adopt these vehicles, but that comes at cost issues, adoptability, security, ethics, and all of this. That's why I'm gonna stick this in A tier, but it just doesn't make sense to have generative AI, which doesn't really save any lives, it just increases productivity, to be at the same level as autonomous vehicles. So I think I'm gonna drop writing down to a B tier. Right now, I think this list is looking good, but we still got 7 more technologies to get through. Let's go to the 4th one, AI used in humanoid robots. Now, this AI-based technology is just like the name says. It's to make robots that look and act like humans. Again, this is extremely relevant in 2024 because just a few weeks ago, Tesla announced their upgrades to Optimus, which I again have in this video up here. And we've seen that Boston Dynamics has been actively working on improving Spot, which is a quadrupled robot. The main purpose of these robots is to minimize the amount of human labor as much as possible. All of those physically demanding, tedious, and just unsafe tasks, well, these humanoid robots can now do those for us. For example, Spot has already been used to survey dangerous construction sites and also inspect areas that are affected with radiation. Now, in my opinion, these robots exceed in how precise they can be. For example, back to healthcare, these robots can pinpoint precisely what needs to be done in a surgery and do it without any error. Well, since these robots are so good at what they do, and some of them already look like humans, well, that means they're definitely going to replace a lot of humans in the work field in the future. Any job that you can think of that just deals with human physical labor, that can easily be replaced with these robots. Well, of course that can be good for you, because say you have one of these at your house, it can be your personal butler or maid, I guess. It can clean the dishes, it can set the dinner table, do your groceries, do all that laborious tasks for you. But at the same time, this is going to be bad for you because it can just take over your own job and then just run the house itself. I mean, why does it need you at that point? Also, these robots have cameras all around them, so this is a huge privacy concern. If your personal robot is hacked, well, everything that you do in your house, anything that you say, is going to be seen and can be sent to who knows who. Now, in 2024, we see robots being used here and there for small tasks. One of the popular things is the Roomba robot that can go vacuum your ground for you, but we still don't see these humanoid robots being adopted that can do every human task for you. However, with all these advancements from Boston Dynamics, Tesla, and all these other companies, the future is definitely going to see these humanoid robots. But honestly, these robots seem too scary for societal good. I really don't see what would stop these robots from banding together and taking over us. Once they can start thinking and acting better than humans, well, they can definitely start living better than humans too. But I have faith in us humans. I think we can effectively manage these robots. So I'm gonna put it at the B tier for now. Alright, number 5 is AI used in finance. Now this refers to AI used in fraud detection, trading automation, and also just personalized finance advice. I can see this helping out banks and investment companies, but I just don't see this being some groundbreaking, revolutionizing thing for human life. Of course, we can use these tools to budget better and use our money more wisely, but it's not like it's gonna generate us more money using these tools. Also, I don't know if I can trust AI with all of my money, because what if it makes a decision that I don't like, or what if it messes up, then my money is poof, gone. That's why I'm gonna stick this in D tier, just because I don't see it as a big game changer in everyday life, and I don't really see it being that cool, honestly. Alright, we are halfway done, but we still got 5 more to get through. So let's go to number 6 in our AI tech list, Cybersecurity AI. Now this type of AI is used to monitor, detect, and respond to cyber threats in real time. Multiple big businesses have found that by using AI in their cybersecurity measures, that they've seen a reduction in phishing attempts. Now at face value, this seems like a really good thing, right? We'll just implement these AI-based algorithms and then we'll make it almost impossible for data breaches, for people to hack into websites or even hack into our nation. But we gotta think about it. If AI can be used to improve security, AI can also be used to improve hacking mechanisms. So it's like a head-to-head clash between the hackers and the security. If the hacking AI is better than the security, well, then that defeats the whole purpose of using our AI. That's why I'm going to throw this into the C tier. Because although I agree that cybersecurity AI will definitely improve the security of our nation and different businesses, but we still have to be actively on our feet to make sure that the algorithms cannot be hacked by another user using AI. Okay, number 7, AI used in semiconductor design. Now this AI is used in the design, testing, and efficiency of microchips. And these microchips are found in everyday electronics, so they're pretty important for our lives. Now, as humans, we want our electronics to work as fast as possible. But in order to be faster, our microchips have to be more power efficient and smaller. So these AI algorithms are being used to suggest the most efficient chip architectures. Not only will this speed up chip design and testing, but it will also make the cost to make these chips much less. The big chip companies like Google, Samsung, and Nvidia have seen that using these AI-based algorithms have reduced the number of defects in their microchips and have also increased the power efficiency of them. The biggest problem with this is that in order to use these AI algorithms, you have to have the technology and the money to do so. So this is going to create a disparity between the large booming tech companies versus the smaller startups. But for us consumers, this AI technology will definitely improve the performance and the speed of our devices. It can also help boost the machine learning algorithms inside our phone, making it faster and smarter than ever. Now, for me personally, if I'm going to be using these generative AI tools, such as the writing AI for code generation and text generation, well, my processor has to be able to keep up with all these algorithms going in the background, meaning that the chip design has to be very power efficient and be made in a way to handle all of these data and algorithms fast enough. That's why I'm going to put it on par with the generative AI in the B tier. Alright, down to the final 3. Let's get through this. All right, so this one is my personal favorite and also might be my most controversial one, education AI. Now, as the name suggests, this is the AI used to enhance personal learning. Now, I'm a college student, so this is the time I'm learning a bunch of new things. Now, in the past, we could only get that education and information from experts, such as our professors, or from these thick books that are filled with information. But the thing is, I don't want to be reading all that. We're Generation Z, and in Gen Z, our attention span is minuscule. So I find it very hard to learn anything just by reading words on a page or by listening to very, very long and monotonous lectures. And even if the lecture is good, people learn in different ways. Some people can learn faster than others. Some people have more experience in the topic, making it easier for them to learn than other people. But with all these students in the class, it's very hard to make sure that all of them understand the material within the class time. Of course, you could get yourself a tutor, but they cost a lot of money and can take up a lot of your time. But AI, I think, is there to solve all those problems when it comes to trying to learn something. Currently in my research, I have to learn about these complex devices that have some very weird physics behind them. Now, there's a bunch of research papers that describe all the processes, but I can't understand what they're saying because they're written for experts in the field. I'm trying to learn that field, so what can I do? Well, I go to ChatGPT. How does this concept work? Give me a beautiful explanation. If it's a bit too complicated, I'll ask it to simplify it down. If it's too simple, I'll ask it to give me more detail, to expand, to give me an analogy, give me whatever you want. And I don't have to be embarrassed because I know it can be difficult to raise your hand in class and maybe ask a question that you might be judged upon. But AI isn't going to judge you, and there's no one around you if you need to ask it a stupid question. It's going to answer it for you and make sure you understand what you're learning. Even for the professors and teachers themselves, AI can be used to help them as well. There's a bunch of automatic AI grading tools that can make their work a lot more easier. But the big question that keeps on coming up for me is that if AI is so good at teaching me these concepts and making sure I understand them in a much more efficient time, then what is the point of lectures nowadays? Well, the one thing that AI can't do is help you collaborate with others. When you go onto the work field, you'll have to work with your coworkers and colleagues and work on projects together to problem solve. Now, AI gives you the skills to do things independently. So I think that lectures can still be very useful for interacting with your peers and working on different problems with them. So if you can work with other people, you can learn from their strengths, you can gain ideas from them to improve the way you think and the way you go about solving problems. We'll still need a lecturer or professor to organize these activities and make sure that everyone's working on these problems. So I don't see the education system being broken down anytime soon, but I do think it needs to be reformed in a way that's more interactive in class period, and then you can use AI yourself to learn the material and just train yourself on these different topics. Now, since being educated is one of the most important skills that a person needs to have in order to thrive in this society, I'm gonna put this at S tier because it makes education so much more efficient and more accessible to people as well. Because people might not have access to a very good school, but if they have like a phone or a computer to access, they can use AI for free and train themselves on multiple different topics, whatever they want to learn, and it's super easy to access. So S tier it is. 2 more to go, and I think these 2 are pretty fun as well. Let's go with AI used in gaming. So this is the AI used to create these intelligent behaviors in non-playable characters, or NPCs, within different games. This can help adapt gameplay to make it more realistic and enhance the experience a user has when playing the game. Back in high school, I used to play a lot of Brawl Stars, but the problem was there was a ton of bots in the game, and these bots were absolute garbage. They kind of made the game not too fun to play. You had to increase your brawler rank by a lot to finally play some experienced players and have some real fun. But now, by using these AI algorithms, these characters can now play as if they were human. This 100% will increase the player engagement, because if they feel like they're being challenged a bit, then they're gonna have some fun and want to play that game more. We got the game GTA 6, which this video will 100% be out before GTA 6 comes out, because GTA 6, we never know when that's coming out. Now, GTA 6 is this game where you can go out to this real world and do whatever the heck you want without any real consequences of breaking the law. Now, in the game, you come across these different NPCs, and you can communicate with them. They give you side quests and stuff like that. Now, if these NPCs acted like real humans, well, that would be a crazy game. It's like you're in real life. And with the addition of VR technology, you can actually be in the game. Like, imagine playing GTA 6, being some criminal and just doing some crazy stuff as if you were doing it yourself. Now, that brings the question, is this really good for us? No, I don't think so, because it can lead to addictions, make people more crazy, and they'll learn from the game and maybe do that in their real life. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic, but it just seems that if these NPCs, if these games become so realistic, then we might mirror that in the real life, and that does not sound too good to me. Now these games might make you go broke because a lot of games you need microtransactions for like upgrading your things. And then if the game is so realistic, you'll think that you're in real life there and you want to improve your character as much as you can to give you that false reality, and that costs money. And there goes your bank account. So I'm gonna stick this in the D tier. All right, last but not least, AI in the creative fields, such as art, video creation, and music. Now, I guess this one directly impacts me because I'm making a video right now and I don't really like the sight of AI making this entire video itself, making some generated model of me just speaking. Of course, that'll be easier, but then I won't have fun because I'm on here bringing out my personality, bringing out my amazing opinions and takes for y'all to flame in the comments in like 10 minutes or whatever. If AI could do this, it just destroys the whole personal aspect of just making anything and just makes you not want to be creative anymore. Now, I know I might seem hypocritical right now because all these images in the tier list are AI generated, but that is the one good thing about it. It's very convenient to make these images however you want. Say I wanted the image of like this music and arts in AI, I could just tell GPT to make this image for me and it'll be super quick. Of course, there's no like emotional aspect to it. There's no historical aspect to it. It's just an image that just represents what I needed real quick. So it's a very convenient way of making art without having to spend any money or any time to do so. Now, I listen to a lot of music, and I can definitely say that AI is becoming really good at replicating my favorite musical artists in musical genres. But the thing is, once I realized that music is created by AI, it just doesn't sound the same anymore because it feels like there was no effort going into creating that. The reason I love music is because I can hear different people using their different talents in order to create some sound that is amazing. It just demonstrates the human talent and how great we can be sometimes. Now, in the art aspect of things, me personally, I don't think humans have really cooked with their abstract images and modern art and stuff like that, just because I don't really understand what's going on, but I guess that's a me problem. But back to the Renaissance art and like the early startings of art, that was some really cool stuff, and that was like, how did these humans make this? How did Michelangelo even go paint that Sistine Chapel that looks so beautiful? It's just a testament to how amazing humans can be sometimes. So I think just using AI to do all these creative tasks for us is not too fun and just destroys the point of being a human in the first place and creating new things. So although it is convenient at times, like making these images, I just don't see it doing much benefit for the human good and the human creativity in the long run. So I'm gonna stick it in the D tier as well. All right, so now we're done, but not yet, because I want to do one final revision. I don't feel like finance really should belong in the D tier with gaming and music and creativity, just because finance can definitely help a lot of people in their monetary aspects. So I'm gonna stick that in the C tier with cybersecurity. Now, I think this is more or less pretty good right here. So there you go, that's my finalized tier list. Tell me in the comments if I cooked with my tier list, if 100% everything I said was accurate, or if you have different opinions. Because again, that's the beauty of the human nature. We got different opinions. AI, it all thinks the same. It all generates the perfect response. But humans, we can argue with each other. We can learn new things from each other. That's what makes us different. And hopefully I taught you something new about AI technology in our world and how we're gonna be progressing in the future. All right, till next time, let's see y'all later.